with the whole I'm going to be Isaac Kappied thing. I just couldn't let that go without actually saying something to the effect. I don't know what you want me to do. Am I supposed to hide under my bed? Hide in my closet? Pull the covers over my head? Quake? I cannot control what your side does. I can't. But I also realize that if you end up showing up and you're in my face, then it's providence and it's meant to happen. That's how it works. I'll just take it as it comes. Otherwise, I don't see the point. I just didn't see the point of the email. And when I got involved with this, I knew what your group was capable of. Of course I fucking knew. Are you kidding me? You know, I are you kidding me? I knew exactly what I was getting involved with when I got involved with all of this and what I could face. I've dealt with that a long time ago. Am I looking forward to it? Absolutely not. Do I want it to happen? Absolutely not. Am I sure that it's going to be allowed to happen? Absolutely not. I've seen heaven work miracles in my life more than once. Your work is important. Thank you. Cognitive, you are correct. Can't stop, won't stop. Thank you for everything. Your video from many years ago with your family experience growing up is so important for everyone to see. There's so much to all of this. And I don't know what to make of the email. This is the same dude that sent me the picture of the front of my house that I got into an argument with Shelby County, Iowa Sheriff Neil Gross. It is this dude who just told me I'm going to be Isaac Kappied that Neil Gross sent a group email to him, me, and Pootie Twang, who was Daniel Dowd, who had sent me live pictures of my town. I took a screenshot of that. I did not take a screenshot of the picture of my house because by that time, I was kind of tripping out. You know, I was kind of tripping out, especially when Owen died. That's why I didn't go to the funeral. You know, I didn't know what to expect or what was. I didn't know because of all of the weird ass shit that was going on. And of course, he's telling me I'm going to be Isaac Kappied because my sheriff is up his ass, or he's up my sheriff's ass, or they're both up each other's ass. I don't know. I just know that they're in bed together. And if I had any doubts, when the 911 operator sent me to an FBI satellite office that doesn't exist, you know, the woman did not sound like an idiot on the phone. She did not impress me as an idiot. So she did it intentionally. And heaven knows that she did it intentionally. I listened to my last live. And although it is harsh, I'm just telling you what I've seen, what I was shown. And of course, I'm going to be shown that because I'm heavily involved, because I wanted all of this to happen. I want these child killers to be claimed. That's what I want. And they're not going to stop. They need to be claimed in some other way than the police. And, and what they need to face isn't available on this side. It's not available on this side. It's only available on the other side. And the darkness is about ready. Darkness already has all of them. That's the reason why they're sending me threats. That's the reason why they're in my house. I will say that I went to Omaha today, and Cogsworth, my clock that I must have gotten from Beauty and the Beast, that would lose time every time I went to Omaha, didn't lose time today. I just checked it. The time is perfect. So no one fucked with the clock, But it's this intimidation thing, this shock and awe. Ooh, we're just gonna, and I don't know what you want me to do. I do not have the energy to focus on your shit. I'll deal with it as it comes because heaven has it all in hand. So I'm living my life. I had to go to Omaha today and do some stuff in Omaha. And so I am so tired of the drama. And this side is all focused on me, thinking that if they get me, then they can save themselves or get back with, and it's so not like that, I'm a mere pawn, and I'm just a piece on a plane, on a board. That's all I am, playing my part. That's all I am. I'm grateful that I have a place on the board. But I'm not the board, and I'm certainly not the one in control of the pieces. And so I'm just a willing participant in this. And I had no idea. Calling 911, I had no idea what it actually meant at the time. I never know. I never know what it means at the time. So, but Issac Cappy, from what I know, was tortured to death. His dead, lifeless body was put on that bridge, which is the reason why someone who was committing suicide was wearing sunglasses. Because he was dead already. They put him on that bridge. So telling me that I'm going to be Issac Kappied means that they're going to torture me to death. That's what it means. That's, and I'm on record saying that that's what I believe happened. At a government facility that I thought was 20 minutes away, until Captain Underpants corrected me and told me it's only a couple minutes away from that bridge. Oh, okay. Only a couple minutes away. Wow, that, okay. Fuck. And yeah, I'm drinking a glass of wine, They'll end up saying, oh, well, he's getting drunk on camera. No, I'm not. This is one glass. That's all I'm going to have. And I have water that goes with it. It's a bottle that has been sitting there for a good month and a half. And so I just find that this child trafficking stuff is coming out. There's no way for them to stop it. There is no way for the shit to be stopped. And they can threaten me all they want. they can threaten me all they want. Isaac didn't realize what he was involved with when he was involved with it. That's the whole reason I got mad at him when he told me that he had 4 of Michael Aquino's phone numbers and he was harassing Michael Aquino on the phone. And I realized he had no idea what he was involved with. But me, I've known from the very beginning. I've known from the very beginning. Let me reiterate and remind everyone, because I've said this story before. When I first got involved with this, I ended up having a dream. And it was a journey dream, just like what I talked about the other night. And what happened is that in the dream, I woke up in the dream and a friend's husband was standing in front of me. And this dude was a pedophile. And I despised him. And I had this blue beam coming out of me and going into him. And I could tell that it was causing issues in the dream. I could tell that it was hurting him. And so I increased the beam and lifted him up about 4 feet off of the ground. And all of a sudden, I saw his feet light on fire. But then I looked down to realize that my feet had already been on fire. And that was when, the minute I realized that I was already on fire, I was spun around 180 degrees. And in the dream, I was in front of the presence of God, our Father, who told me, this is the cost of what you are doing. This will be the cost. I have to go through it first. That's what I was told. And without even hesitation in the dream, I said, if it protects the children, so be it. And turned around and I woke up. But I have been tested that very test over and over and over again with all of their attacks and their little do bullshit. You know, I've been tested over and over and over. And every single time I've said the same thing. Whatever it takes, I'm in for the long haul, whatever heaven needs me to do, that's what I'm going to do. And I ain't going to shut the fuck up. I ain't going to just let this go. I'm not going to let it go. I'm not letting any of this child trafficking. And why would I? Because where I stand, what I can see is that all the shit that I was promised is now all starting to come to fruition. I'm watching everything come to fruition. You can't vote for Biden in 2024. He's not running. But I'm not voting for a fascist. And I'll vote against a fascist every time. You know, every time. The fact that Fred Trump was in Hummel Park all the time was a huge part of all of this. I just can't reiterate it enough, but I don't have to, because heaven is in control now. Thank you. Nice waterfall, soothing. I got this years ago with my sister Cindy, you know. And so the threats, whatever. There's nothing I can do about it. And so I'm not going to worry about it. And you're not going to get me all afraid. You're not going to get me all afraid. No matter what you do, breaking into my house all the time. If that doesn't do it, why do you think saying, with threats, That's all it's ever. You send me pictures of the front of my house. You send me pictures of my town. When my best friend drops over dead, I know that you guys had something to do with it. I know that. You guys dance around like orangutans in heat and want to brag about it. That's the reason why you sent me the email that you did. Because you knew that I would send it to Neil. I would send it to everyone, you know? And is it serious? I don't care. I'm sick of the bullshit. And if there weren't dead people involved with this whole fucking thing in the past, I would just blow it off. But since there's so many fucking dead people, that's the reason why you're saying that I'm going to be Issac Kappied. Well, thank you for admitting, finally, that Issac didn't jump off that fucking bridge. His dead ass body was fucking placed on that bridge by the very people who spent 4 fucking years saying this dumbass story of how they knew the minute they drove under an overpass, even though they didn't know the dude and there were no cops, but knew the very second that they drove under that overpass. And now, since I've gotten involved, now the two were on the bridge and need to be celebrated as heroes for trying to keep Issac from jumping off the fucking bridge. One of the same dudes, let me fucking point out, who was sending me live videos in my town when Owen dropped over fucking dead. Same goddamn dude. That's the problem with this whole bullshit. It's playing out for everyone to see. It has played out for everyone to see. I wasn't even involved for the first 4 years after his death. I took a back seat because I didn't want to deal with it anymore. It's been the last year that all of this has happened. And I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything about the Dead Issac Cappy Club, nothing. I was just told to open up comments and simply start talking about Issac. And all I knew was the personal stuff that I knew about, you know? Our conversations that we had, and we never talked about his shit. It was surreal to me. He lived in a world that I didn't even understand and wasn't real to me. That whole Hollywood actors and all their shit and all of that just is like an alien fucking planet to me, and always was, and I wasn't interested. And so, oh my God, what fucking suicide have you ever heard of that has a deluxe 2 CD set to the whole fucking thing? You can get a deluxe 2 CD set of everything Issac Cappy suicide. Everything. Everything. You know, the thing was just a put up deal. This shit doesn't even make sense any more than the Erling, Iowa gas station explosion makes sense. Any more than that makes sense. Because it wasn't just one explosion that leveled the place, like it says on the official paperwork. It obviously, the KETV news report, and I think that I have something to say about it because I was in that report, you know? I was on video, so I think I have a say on what happened that day. And it wasn't what is written in the official report. And whatever's going to happen, because all of this shit is like surreal anyway. Stuff is happening that is just surreal. it's if someone wrote it in a movie script, they wouldn't make the movie because it would seem unbelievable. That's the weird ass shit. And so thank God I have faith. Thank God that I realized that everything is providence. It's all providence. And whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And God has control of the whole thing. And they're going to do the stupid shit they're going to do because they can't stop themselves at this point. They can't. Their own paranoia and their own dark ass bullshit. That's all they think about anymore because they're afraid it's about ready to come out. And of course it's about ready to come out because all of their friends know all their shit and all of their friends can't be trusted. If there is no honor among thieves, there's even less among child killers and the group that supports child killers. There's even less. And so, and they think it's all me, but it's not me. Do you think I'm controlling the sun? Do you really think I'm controlling the sun? Do you think that I have so much power that I have control over the poles and the fact that they're getting ready to switch and we have no magnetic field? Do you actually think I'm responsible for that? Really? That's what you think, because that's what it would take. Because that's why I'm saying it's heaven. You can't beat what's here for you. You wanted a war with heaven, and now heaven is giving you a war. And I'm really good at opening doors. That's what I've really become very good at. I opened one today. Went right to the Kremlin. Opened a door right in front of Vladimir Putin. And guess who I invited through that doorway? Navalny. And told him for him to cross that doorway, he had to agree on one thing. One thing only. No mercy. That wasn't a problem with him. And so now Putin gets to face Navalny, but Navalny's on the other side, and I ask that all of heaven, whatever he needs, to give him whatever he needs. Whatever he needs. That's, warrior mode has definitely been activated, cognitive. I moved away. I'm not moving away anymore. I'm not running anymore. I'm not running anymore. I know who I am on the other side, and I know what I'm supposed to do on this side. And that's what's really, it's just really opened my eyes to a lot. It's funny because being told to call 911, I really did think it was all about the FBI and everything that happened at the FBI, and didn't realize that it was much more simpler. It was way more simple than it was. And I would be willing to bet that 911 operator has listened and will probably listen to this one because I sent it to him. And I bet she's already regretting her decision. Because in her heart, she knows I'm telling the truth. She knows I'm telling the truth. She's seriously fucked up. Seriously fucked up. Sometimes simple things are very hard. Sometimes I am so dense. That's why I just do what I'm told, because I realize that even if heaven wanted to explain why, I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get it. So I just simply just do what I'm told and realize that I'll be shown afterwards. The stuff, I was like the dude in who's the guy, it's biblical that he went to heaven and was shown all of the stuff in heaven. But it's not in a book in heaven. Isn't it in the Dead Sea Scrolls? But that's what it was like. I went to heaven and heaven just showed me a lot that dream. You know, I now know why 3 to 4 to 5 generations. It'll be the whole bloodline. It'll be the whole bloodline. And they're going to be forced to murder what they love for an eternity. That's basically what they face, is they're going to murder what they love for an eternity. Because that's what they've done. They've murdered what people love. Their children. Who doesn't love their children? I mean, even my parents, who were psychos, in their weird-ass way, did love us in their weird-ass way. But they're going to be forced to murder what they love for an eternity. And that's the reason why the whole bloodlines will be claimed. Because it'll get rid of the evil. After they spend an eternity in the dark, the minute they come into contact with evil, they will flee. They will run from it. Because they're about to be gifted the fear of God. To spend an eternity in the dark, and you will never again lose your fear of God, fear of heaven. We're not supposed to be controlled by it, but you best be aware of it. Heaven doesn't play. Heaven will be fine to a certain point, but then when it's not, it's so not. And that's where we're at now. I read your book. I'm glad you read the book. We move in faith by the Spirit and find out why later. Exactly cognitive. You know, sometimes when one says it's complicated, it's very simple. Sarah, that's very true too. You know, it's very true. It's the deepest truths are the ones that are the most simple. Isn't that how it works? That's how I've always found it. And just realize that, yes, I sell these because I have to pay for them. But if you're broke and you can't afford stuff, then just go to my blog and read the extended version for free. You know? Do you like Israel? Do I like Benjamin Netanyahu and the government that's running Israel right now? No, they're working for the devil. You know? Do I have a problem with Jewish people? Obviously not. You know? Do I have problems with Jewish? That's the whole thing. It's not they're being divided, but they're being divided by the idiot who's fucking running them, and is running them because he's afraid of the criminal convictions that he faces if he loses power. So keep that in mind about Netanyahu, nincompoop. You know, but again, he knows as well as anyone. Never start a war you haven't already won. How's that war going for you, Benny? I bet it's going about the same as the Ukraine war is going for Russia. You know? What is your stance on cats? I actually grew up with the Siamese kitty. I grew up with the Siamese cat. I adored my Siamese cat. I adore animals. And in many ways, I actually dealt with this. I mean, going to shamanic workshops and stuff like that. I am way more feline than I am dog. Even though I have dogs and I absolutely adore my dogs and have had dogs for years. Um, I love cats. I love cats. I love dogs, but I love cats. And I love snakes. Just not a big fan of spiders. Creepy crawly things. You know, just not afraid of them, but don't want to have them for pets either. But when I see a spider in the house, I don't kill the spider. I just leave it alone, you know? See, I think people identify with either dog mentality or cat mentality. And I am loyal like a dog. And I have dog attributes, don't get me wrong. I do, and this is just a strange conversation, but I do have attributes. But it's funny because there was a psychic that was a really good psychic. She was the one who actually helped save me with when they tried to kill me in Algona. That's the reason why they wanted all of those videos off. They wanted, because it detailed everything that was going on in Algona. And who lives 23 miles away in Tacoma? Lucian Greaves, founder of the Satanic Temple. Ooh, evil and scary. He's just so powerful that he can live 23 miles away from me, but never find the fucking balls to stand in front of me. And we live 23 miles away. 23 miles away. I didn't know it, because had I known it, we would have stood face to face. But he knew it, and in 4 years, he couldn't find his balls enough to actually stand in front of me. They only do that when they have the upper hand. When they have you in a dark alley and they can do secret fucking things to you, then they're all big and bad. But when it's out in the fucking light for everyone to see, not so much. That's been my experience. Not so much. They're big and bad. What would you say to him if you were face to face? At this moment in time, enjoy the fucking dark, dude. Enjoy the fucking dark. At one point in time when I was out in Algona, the sad part about it is, had I been his age and we had gone to school together, I would have befriended him. You know? I always befriended the underdog. I've always been, you know, I seem to gravitate towards the underdog, always. Those who can't fight for themselves, who need someone to fight for them. That's what I do. That's who I am, you know. I told you so, Dougie. That's exactly it. I told you so. That'll come. That'll come. Because every fucking one of them is gonna face me right before the darkness claims them. And the darkness will hold them until I'm able to get there. Because I want to see their faces when the darkness claims them. And that is petty and small of me, and I realize it is, and yet it's the truth. It's the truth. I have dealt with too much with this group. And I know that what they've done to me is the same shit they've done to other people. And I have seen what it has done to other people. And so it's just not going to stay that way. You know, it's just not going to stay that way. The darkness is about ready to claim them. And they are frantic to stop it. That's the reason why they're sending me just open ass threats. Just open ass threats now. Can you give me a 20-second summary on everything? Oh my God, dude. It's about child trafficking. It's all about child trafficking and ritual abuse. I grew up in Omaha in the 80s with something called Franklin Credit. The same thing that was going on in Omaha at the time was also going on in Houston. You can go watch Boys for Sale, watch what Dr. Tom Philpott was trying to expose before he was suicided. Issac Cappy was my friend. He was trying to expose the Hollywood aspect where now P. Diddy is getting busted, and now that Abercrombie and Finch dude is getting busted. DavidShurter.com. My name, simple. DavidShurter.com. If you find out stuff that you're interested in, go to the search bar below or on the side. It's down a ways. Just type in Franklin Credit, Doug Mesner, Lucian Greaves, Dead Isaac Cappy Club. Stuff will all come up, you know? And my channel is full of videos. Thank you, Cognitive. My channel is just full of videos. And on my website has been going since 2011. It's all exposing child trafficking. That's all I've tried to do is expose child trafficking. And now I am being threatened by the same group that took out Issac Cappy. It's the same fucking group that took out Issac Cappy. And now they're just admitting it. Because what the fuck do you think they mean when they said, you're going to be Issac Kappied? You know? I don't do Halloween. I do not do, I just don't do Halloween. One year, the first year that I ever did Halloween, they actually have a picture of me. Because I have horns on my head. And I was holding a whip in the picture. I'm really young. I look really good. I wish I looked like that now. But it was because I was going with a group of guys, and they were blue devils. And they were all devils. They all had the same horns, except that they painted their faces blue, and I wasn't painting my face blue. I would stick the horns, and the horns only lasted for maybe a little bit after that picture, and then they fell off, and I didn't wear them after that. But my other half was a big Halloween, loved Halloween. We ended up going to Halloween parties. And I just am not a Halloween. I end up, usually, in the past, what I've done is just shut off my lights and I set up my Christmas tree. I listen to Christmas music and set up my Christmas tree. That's what I do on Halloween. Because Halloween, there's no ritual abuse survivors who fucking celebrate Halloween. There's not a one of us that celebrates Halloween. Not a one. And I'm just, you know, I saw an interview from a porter who first wrote about Franklin. Never said a word about the religious aspect of it. He felt deceptive, but I don't know why. The whole thing about it is that when I spoke to Nick Bryant on the phone, and I made him cry in this conversation, because that dude was so arrogant on the phone. telling me to just sit tight and take a seat, that he had written a book about Franklin and it was about ready to bust open Franklin and blah 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 blah. So just sit back and I'm dealing with it. So in the conversation I said, so did you talk about all of the child trafficking that was going down in the Omaha in the old market? No. Did you talk about the fact that Boys Town was bussing boys down every Saturday? They were parking the buses at the Greyhound bus station, and the old market was only 3 blocks down the way. No. Did you talk about the antiquarium and all of the weird ass shit that was going on there? No. Did you talk about the Hollywood bar that was doing snuff films? And when it all came out that they were doing snuff films, instead of investigating, the town tore down the Hollywood bar and put up a parking garage, a city parking garage. That's what they did. Did you talk about that? No. Did you talk about the stage door and the fact that it was right across the street from Robert Wadman, and Sam Soda, who was the manager of the stage door, and I knew that because I had worked at the stage door, who was reportedly supposed to be involved with the Johnny Gosh case? Did you talk about that? No. Did you talk about all the boys who were selling themselves around the run, walking around the prison in a place called the Run, across the street from a bar called the Run on Leavenworth that was associated with the Greyhound bus station? No. Did you talk about Hummel Park and all of the ritual stuff that was going on in Hummel Park? No. Did you talk about Forest Lawn, where they were cremating the bodies and disposing of the bodies in other graves? Did you talk about any of that? No. And I told him, so you're not bringing anything to the fucking new to the table, right? You're not bringing anything new to the table. And that was when he started crying and telling me, I'm a good man. I'm a good man. I don't know what you're saying. I'm a good man. You may be a good man, but still, you know, if you're going to actually expose Omaha, then fucking expose Omaha, you know? It's not that hard. And it's all the child trafficking stuff, you know? A lot of Native Americans love Halloween. It's the only holiday that doesn't remind us of Christianity being abused to kill us. We used to celebrate during October too, so Halloween is all we have now. That's, you know, for me, untold prepubescent white boys got fucking sliced and diced and slaughtered in front of me before they fucking got their heart cut out. And so Halloween for me doesn't have good memories to it. It's a bad time. It's not as bad as Easter, but, you know, but what they've done to the Native American population, you're fucking disappearing all over the fucking place and no one says a word. And you're all what, are you just being abducted by fucking aliens? It is beyond. It is just beyond. But of course, because Native Americans are connected to a spiritual truth that actually can fight all this. I know, because I'm a shaman. I'm not Native American. I don't identify with Native Americans in America because that is not my culture. I identify as a Celtic shaman because of my my background is my mother was Irish, you know, and so it was, you know, that's why I'm kind of glad I didn't grow up with the tribe, which is really sad. My blood is awake. I was never allowed to be asleep. They were raising me to be the vessel for the Antichrist. And there was no way in hell. If I had anything to say about it, there was no way in hell. There was no way I was going to work with these fucking dickheads to help them do what they were doing. There was no fucking way. Who's meeting a 12-year-old boy tonight? I don't even do things other than YouTube, but it's starting to piss me off. Like I said the other day, I say that, oh, well, my sheriff got a hold of them, so they stopped sending me pictures of kids. So they just sent me picture after picture after picture of kids. And so it was just, you know, and you forward it to the police, and you would think, yes. And he's gone. Are you kidding me? After I'm done with this, it's 8:45. I was in Omaha all afternoon. I'm drinking a thing of wine. As soon as I get done with this, I'm letting the dogs out for the last time and I'm going to bed. Who the fuck is anyone kidding? I'm kind of sometimes in bed at 6 o'clock at night. You know? Meeting some kid? For what? You know? That's just it. For what? You know? There is no way anyone that I would willingly let anybody see me out of my clothes, let alone want to get naked and jiggy with anyone. Ew. You know, I'm not a troll. That's what gay guys call old guys who are like just all focused on sex. Trolls. And I'm not a troll. You know, I am so not focused on that. But it is. It is the nerve of the thing about it is that everything, all the shit that they talk about is all this weird ass sex shit. Listen to them. They just talk about this, and it's always this weird ass sex shit. It's just bizarre. And it's off-putting. YouTube got mad at me because I said something about Miss Desperation. In the title. And it was an inappropriate title. And so I got banned for the one and only time I've ever gotten in trouble in this thing. And I got banned for a week. And so I don't get in trouble because I don't do anything that actually, you know, I don't do anything that gets me in trouble. Much love and respect from Germany, sir. Thank you. My dad was German. My dad's family was German. And so I also have a connection to Germany. Trolls are amazingly creepy. Body positivity. It's just, exactly. They say a lot of creepy things. Hey, Mr. Jeffrey. Thank you. I appreciate. Dorina, hello. Glad that I came on tonight. The truth is that trolls troll. Yes, Gov, that's a very powerful truth. They troll. And there's just, I'm old. I remember a time when we didn't have phones like this. And the computer, we had one in our school. And it was only so you could learn DOS. I did. I learned DOS. It was boring. And, but that was when I grew up. You didn't have phones. There were pay phones everywhere. You had to have change. And I can figure out the technology, but a lot of times I just don't. And these people that come on here have an inordinate amount of time on their hands, obviously, because they do things that we have DOS after 40 years. See, I didn't even know if they used DOS or not. That was just, I remember a time when we weren't connected to all of this stuff, and so I'm not connected to it. I connect to it when I want to connect to it, but if I don't want to connect to it, like today when I was in Omaha, I didn't have earphones on. I ended up going and buying a pair of earbuds at $5 at five and below. And I realized that $5 earbuds sounded just as good as the expensive ones that I've bought on eBay. And so they probably won't last as long, but they sound fine. And so I am not a witch. I was raised. The thing about it is that I don't, when I, my growing up, they bound me to the dark before I even was aware that I was alive. I was a baby. You know, that's when it started. So the darkness for me has always had a different connotation than it has for everyone else. There was no way for me to get away from the darkness. It has always been there. And I was raised by Luciferians. Yeah, they were warlocks and witches. The cult that I dealt with in Hummel Park was all male. There wasn't the females were fucking everybody down on the staircase, but in the pavilion, it was all male. I didn't even realize that there was an actual, real female side to this until I reached out to Fiona Barnett. I didn't even realize that there was a female side because for me, it was all males. It was all males, you know? That's why Bohemian Grove was all males. It was all what I was used to, you know? I did not know that there was. I'm not a big fan of that podcast, and I'm not even going to mention the name. It won't be in the video because it doesn't, but they interviewed SRA victims that just got banned from YouTube. It's not real. It's not real. A lot of the people that are out there that are on the front lines of this aren't real. I have an itty bitty little. There's a group of you who know about me, but my thing is small. That's, and there really isn't anyone out there like me anymore because they've exterminated them and gotten rid of them. And so she's a gatekeeper. That podcast, they're gatekeepers. They're gatekeepers. And the gray dude I had befriended me years ago was a friend of mine on Messenger, and I didn't know was connected to that podcast until I came out and spoke out against that podcast. And so much of it is not real, and the few that I have seen love God. That is the only way that you can get out of this. That's the only way you can get out of it. It's crazy as it sounds, but the teachings of Jesus Christ. We're not religious. We don't go to church. We don't become Bible thumpers. We're not, we're not church people. But if they're a survivor and they're actually out of it, it's because of the teachings of Jesus Christ. They're trying to live the word. And that's the whole thing about it. And that's how you know of the real, the real ones. However, Taoism is a mindset. Peace, love, unity, one. But I don't see, Gov, I think that Taoism and all of that stuff was all part of the teachings, the real teachings of Jesus Christ. I believe that Jesus Christ, that's the reason why we don't know much before 33. We know when he was 12, and then it goes to 33, and it's because he traveled. He traveled and actually learned. God took him on his own journey before he could become who he was. The same fucking thing that has happened to me. God took me on my own journey before I could actually be who and what I needed to be at this time. First of all, I didn't know him as Gray. I didn't know him as Gray. And he was sending me pictures and all of that and of himself. And it's all I needed to see. I'm not a fan and never going to be a fan. Don't trust them. Don't think they're real. Never going to think they're real. And people have to make their own discernment. Learn to discern. You have to make your own judgments. You don't have to take what I'm saying is gospel and take it onto yourself. You can, go see for yourself. I'm just saying that my takeaway from the whole situation is, have you seen the book The Tao Speaks? No. Ooh, and I need a good book to read right now. Jesus was like the Ethiopian too. Jesus was not white. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how much color he had to his skin, but he was born in the Middle East, in that whole area, and could have easily been black. But he sure as fuck wasn't white. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. He's sure if he was white, he was the most miserable bitch ever. Because he was sunburned all the time. Can you fill me in what you're talking about quick? Child trafficking is what I basically deal with. And so, child trafficking, Issac Cappy, who was trying to expose the Hollywood version of the child trafficking, which is what P. Diddy is being involved with, and that dude, I forget his name, the creepy dude that's had a lot of surgery to him. I don't ever understand that surgery. Yes. Have you ever considered making other content on the side, like about yarn or anything else you're interested in? Yes. I am actually getting ready to work with a woman in town, and we are going to do like quilt stuff and stuff like that. I want to actually get away from this whole I think this whole child trafficking stuff is being investigated anyway. I think it's all because that's the reason why they're acting like freaks. That's why they're saying that I'm going to be Issac Kappied, And so I think there is stuff going on that I'm not even aware of. And so I don't see why I have to focus it on a day-to-day basis. I'll do what God wants me to do, and I'll do these live videos, but I do kind of want to refocus, and I'd like to do something like cooking too. I would just like to do some fun stuff so that people actually get to see me as a normal individual. Because let's face it, watching me on these lives, watching my videos, this is what I focus on right now. And this is not what I'm focused on a normal basis. Today, kinda, I was, because I missed Owen when I went to Omaha. Couldn't figure out any place to eat because I didn't want to just go sit someplace by myself. And so, I do have before pictures of my yard. Joey said, would love to see your yard when you're finished with it, maybe a before and after. Someone actually had made a donation, and so I was actually able to go to Omaha. And the donations are small, but I just want to tell you guys that even small, it just means a lot. And I hate to say that because I know, money shouldn't make any difference, but it's like feeling like people care, and I know you guys care, and I know people are broke and they don't have anything. So I'm not trying to guilt trip anybody. I'm just saying that it is just kind of nice every once in a while. It's just, and they don't happen all the time, but, that's just it. Covering this stuff. We all help each other in ways. I help people all the time, and they don't have money to pay me, so we end up doing this bartering thing and trade and stuff like that. I'm all fine with that. My heart goes out to you about Owen. And Native Tea Podcast. I'm excited to continue covering your story and current updates on my new pod. Everyone check out Native Tea Podcast. My best friend, John Mace, but he changed his name to Mason Grayface. But he was Native American. And he was my brother. He was my brother. My brother, Native Tea Podcast. Yanaha. So it's run by Yanaha. So check out Native Tea Podcast. You've come in here before. I recognize your name. And I'll do anything I can to help the Native Americans because you guys, out of everyone, your culture has had it the worst. And all I'm speaking of is facts, and I'm saying Native America everywhere, in America, in Canada, in Australia. I mean, what do they have against Native Americans? I just don't get it. But it's in every country that they're after Native Americans, especially your kids. And I found you from the Oakland Four. Oakland Four, I believe, is connected to my dad, his group, and Omaha, because they were trying to misdirect. Everything was starting to come out in Omaha at that time. And then all of a sudden, the Oakland Four took the whole nation by storm. Where is your podcast aired, Native Tea Podcast? YouTube. It's done on YouTube. Native Tea Podcast. We all have to support each other. And if you're real, I definitely support you. I have no problem supporting real people actually trying to make a difference. Shills and honeypots, I'm not. Hey, into the darkest places. Good evening. It's nice to see you guys. I'll probably keep on here for a little bit then, because I am real gay. I'm gay. I don't know if I'm real gay. You know, I'm not attracted to women. That's so. Doesn't that officially make me gay? But I don't act on it. I've been. I have thought about making another documentary. I have, but I didn't do that one. I had someone who did it, who actually came and filmed, and that was the last. We had filmed 70 hours of all these places in Omaha, and when he did that documentary, it was at the very end of filming 70 hours in a graveyard behind my house, and for some reason, I don't know why I wore that stupid short sleeve sweater. I'm sweating like a pig. I'm so hot and I'm exhausted. So I would really like to make another documentary. I would like to make a documentary of what happened after I published Rabbit Hole. That's what I would like to do, is talk about all this stuff. You know, I live for God. I'm dirt poor because I don't submit to the government. You know, the thing about it is that how I tell people is I never have an abundance. I never have a lot, but I always seem to have enough. And it's funny how God works that way, you know, when I'm really low. And I was really low today. So the donation really just cheered me up because I was able to go get dog food. I was all happy, you know. Just do the next one drenched in sweat. You know, if I really wanted to piss off the Dead Isaac Cappy Club, I would just do the whole thing in my bathtub. They hate those bathtub ones. They hate the they hate those bathtub ones. But it's funny because the bathtub ones are where I'm praying and meditating and opening myself up to heaven and all of that. And so usually when I make those bathtub videos, it's because I've gotten an idea from all of that. And you know, into the darkest places. What do you need a response for? I've missed it. What are you waiting for? Can I help? Have you thought about contacting Gloria Masters? No, I don't even know who she is. Share your testimony. She's SRA survivor and a real fighter. To the bathtub. The problem with doing the bathtub, I wish I had one that was comfortable. I actually, when I first got this house, I had extra money from the house that I sold. And so actually, that was from them crashing into my car. I had insurance money. And I found out that they had something called a soaker bathtub. Because the bathtub that was in here was really, it was an old fashioned tub and it was beautiful. But where the drain was, I either had to tape it and hold it with my foot, or my gut just kind of hung out of the tub. It was disgusting. I felt like a beached whale, and I wouldn't take a bath because I felt so fat. And so I ended up getting this soaker tub, and now I'm completely under the water because I'm not all that fat. I'm only like 230 pounds. But what was the name of the documentary? When did it come out? It's at the very beginning of my. If you go to my channel and go to the very beginning, that's where it's at. You can also check out, if you can still find it, Fiona Barnett's. That's Candy Girl. That's what was going on in Australia. Do you agree with Cappy's statement that once you pull it out, Epstein stuff, it all comes down? Yes. I think that it is a house of cards. And I have lit fire to all of the little worker bees because they came at me after starting to talk about Issac Cappy. In the last year, all I've had to deal with is the dead Issac Cappy Club. And so I exposed all of them. And in the process of exposing all of them, I lit their little fucking house of cards on fire. And now people are looking because that's what needed to happen. What they needed is someone to come along with the spotlight and just show the shit. This is what's happening here. This is who's involved. This is what's happening here. This is who's involved. This is what's happening here. This is who's involved. And that's what I've been able to do. I was his only... And that's sad that I was his only true friend. Because we didn't even really know each other. We never met in person. We only talked on the phone. You know? The nicest bathtub I ever saw in Japanese. You sit upright and it's so lovely. Oh, yeah. I love Asian flair, even though I don't have much in my house. And Japanese. You know, it's funny, kids. I have to say, and this is probably too much information, but as a gay dude, I'm attracted to 30 to 50 muscular, full chest of hair, full beards. I like hair. But I will say that when it comes to the Asian population, the Japanese men are incredibly attractive too. You know, that's incredibly attractive. It's just bizarre how that works. And so, from what I can see, the people that were surrounded Isaac were all bad. They were all bad. That's why I say, if you want to know about all the child trafficking, investigate Issac Cappy, alive Issac Cappy, who he was involved with. My ex is Japanese. Yeah. I don't even want to even think about who's going to win the election. I don't want Trump because I don't want Nazis. I don't want the fascist bullshit. I don't. But I'm not all that excited about Harris either. I'm not all excited about Harris. No, I don't want Trump. When we're having to deal with Nazis in the streets and he's praising Hitler's generals and all of that, and I know about his dad, so no, no. I don't like Camilla either, but I don't want a fascist in office. I don't like fascists. I don't like Nazis. I hated his dad. And so his dad was a fucking mean asshole. Psychotic, mean asshole. They were all psychotic. They all went out of their way to, and then you had that dumbass Hunter Thompson who just fueled the shit. They all wanted to compete with each other's craziness. That's what I saw as a kid. And then as a young adult, watching that, okay, dude, I don't know who you are, but you're gone. I'm exhausted, you can tell. I'm just kind of rambling. And unfortunately, I have a feeling that some of this is going to get dumped because I don't see myself drinking this whole thing. So I've had like that much wine, and I'm just already kind of sick of it. But I only have a couple waters left, and if I open this, it's going to lose its carbonation. And so I kind of don't want to open it tonight because I'll never drink. If I drink that whole thing tonight, I'll be up over and over and over peeing constantly. Thank you. I only have one. I got it at Goodwill years and years and years ago. And so I voted, but the election kind of depresses me. But I think that everything is getting ready to come to a head anyway. I really do think that things are getting ready to come to a head. Yes, into the darkest places. I know I say it like a broken record, but Cappy said you were telling the truth. I proved you said it. Into the darkest places. I so appreciate that too, because you are incredibly tenacious with that. And I really do appreciate, because Isaac knew I was telling the truth. Isaac liked me, you know? Hunter S. Thompson, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Human Hunting. Yes. Which is exactly what he was doing, what Scalia was doing in that ranch down in Texas. Which is exactly what they were doing on the island, I would be willing to bet, where Jeffrey Epstein had a temple. It's, you know, it's so out there and in your face. But if I end up like Isaac, I didn't do it to myself, obviously. I didn't torture myself to death. I'm certainly not fucking suicidal. You know, I would live for 1,000,000 years just to spite these dickheads. I never talked to Tracy Twyman. I never talked to Tracy Twyman. And she was friends with Cappy. She was trying to investigate because she was upset with what happened. And she was trying to investigate. That's why they took her out. That's the reason why they took Tracy Twyman out, because she knew what was going on. Isaac was hiding in his bedroom at the very end because they were doing to him the same shit I have documented them doing to me. She was brilliant. I've looked into some of the stuff that she was saying. I wish that I would have. I feel bad about how I dealt with Isaac Cappy because I walked, but I was getting ready to move, or I had moved. It was 4 years. I was just trying to get my life. You know, she was an occultist. She identified as a witch. Some people do, you know, and as long as you're not killing kids and doing evil shit, people would say that the stuff that I do is witchcraft and all of that, but it's not. I end up going to heaven and doing it. But do I interact with the dark? Yeah, I interact with the dark. I have my whole life. People have a right to choice, you know? If you have your heart filled with love, that's what you are. You have your heart filled with love, then it doesn't make any difference. Because that's the whole thing, is having your heart filled with love. That's the whole thing. That's what heaven wants, for you to have your heart filled with love and give a shit about everyone else. That's what heaven demands. That's what heaven has commanded of all of us. And it doesn't make any difference if you're Jewish or Muslim or Indian or shaman or Jesus Christ did not worship Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ was not a Christian, nor was he fucking white. He wasn't a white dude, you know? From what I've looked at with Tracy Twyman, she was trying to expose what happened to Issac Cappy. She was trying to actually do the right thing. She cared. And she put herself out there. She ended up being a martyr. Whether or not anybody identifies with her being a martyr or not is inconsequential. In heaven, she's considered a martyr. She put herself out there for the right reasons, for the right thing, and paid the ultimate price, you know? And didn't, not only did she not get paid by the government, she got murdered by the government, because this all shit is CIA. It's all fucking CIA. The shit that they had, the reason why they surrounded Issac is because Issac was like this little boy lost. And he would actually, deep inside of himself, he was a good dude. But I think that he was an abuse survivor. So he surrounded himself with fucking criminals and abusers. That's what I've dealt with for the last year. All of the Dead Issac Cappy Club are the people that I would avoid, would go out of my way to avoid because they're unpleasant. And that's what he was surrounded by, was this whole group. Same thing with Max Spears. Same thing with Lori King. That's what they did. They just don't like me because I call it as I see it. They've sent people to me. And I just tell them, dude, if you're evil and you're here to fuck me up, you ain't going to like the consequences. You ain't going to like how it works out. Survivors always attract predators. We always attract predators. We don't know how God decides. Lord Jesus Christ said that no one comes to Father but through him. Your good deeds don't matter unless you're imitating Jesus Christ. I agree with that. The whole thing about it is that that's what our brother was here for. We're supposed to emulate our brother, and Jesus Christ was our brother. We're supposed to emulate our brother. And for no other reason because our brother was right. And love is the word. It's the way, The word is the way, and the word is love. And I was being kind, David. Yeah, I know. That's the sad part about it is that we draw the worst to us. Survivors always do. But we gravitate to what we know. That's human nature. We gravitate to what we know. And now I'm thinking about the election. The only thing that I can hope for is that it ends. That's the only thing I care. I am so sick of being in this constant election mode. Everyone's running for something constantly. And it's exhausting to have to deal with it day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. I am so exhausted by it because they all suck. Every one of them sucks on both sides. Okay, what did I miss? E3. I'm going to try and go back. Oh, cool. I did. Gov says, I have an episode about how voting itself is the problem. E13. Gov, give me your station so that I can announce that too. Vote for yourself. Voting for others is not yourself. Not your higher self, that's for sure. You're voting for the lesser evil. So, however way you want to vote it, say it, GovCorp Watch. It's my YouTube station. GovCorp Watch. Is that what your YouTube is called? Oh, thank you. Okay. GovCorp Watch. Another YouTube station to go check out. Gov is brilliant, and he's very interesting. I haven't seen his. I mean, I haven't gone and looked. Unfortunately, I'm so busy cleaning the house and taking care of dogs and sewing and just living life that I just don't go check out a lot of stuff. I'm an old dude. Social media for me is exhausting. I haven't been on TikTok for I don't know how long, but Gov comes in here all the time and has the most interesting things to say. So GovCorp Watch. Go check out his room. Yes, 50 plus. Let's see if we can't get it to 100. You know, let's get him some channel followers. I always forget that. Thank you, Gov, for telling me that. If you like what I'm saying, click the like button, click the share button, and click the subscribe button. I always forget to say that, you know? I want to quit all social media eventually. It's so negative and I feel it affecting me. All of that negative stuff. David, he meant 50 years or older. Yep, yes, sir. I don't see Tracy's last video where she talks about the cult threatening her after Isaac died. Native Tea Podcast said that. I bet it's not there. I bet it's not there. It's funny how all that shit, all of the stuff that is all about Jacob Wetterling and what was going on in Washington, they got that channel taken down. So all those videos are gone. You know? All those videos are gone. That's just it. Gov says it's the content creator making things from a negative view that is always sucking so much energy. I hope I don't suck energy from you guys. I know that I can be very negative sometimes, and I can be quite grouchy. But I would hope that at least some of the stuff is uplifting or, you know, covering negative isn't taking energy. I don't want to take your guys' energy. I actually want to give, you know, I just really would rather uplift you guys and give rather than take. I have no interest in, I don't need your guys' energy. Heaven is connected to me constantly. I'm with heaven all the time. You know, I don't need to take your energy. Heaven gives me plenty. And so much so that I like to share. And we can mush the energy together. That's just it, you know? Holographic expansion. See, you guys are just so smart. The conversation is just really interesting tonight. And you know it is because it's 9:30 and I'm exhausted and I'll probably keep this up for another half an hour, maybe, if you guys keep talking. Because it's fun to see everyone actually conversing on here. The hologram is very specific. Heaven asked you to do these things to show you, not to know why until after. I never get to know why. It's always on a need to know basis. I'm always, oh my God, I am so in bed by 9:30. 9:30 is up for me to be up at 9:30 is like for other people to be up like at midnight, you know? if I stay up till 11, that's my 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when I'm just living dangerously. I'm so interested to think what you think about the Blue Beam project. You know, that sounds familiar, but I'm not familiar with it enough. Can you actually refresh? You actually, can I, have I heard of it? Just bring, you know, the live is too interesting. I got work in the morning, but this live is too interesting. I again wasn't gonna go on live, but when I found that thread saying that I was going to be Isaac Kappied, I just decided, fuck it, I'm coming on, because it ends up obviously pissing him off, and I kind of enjoy pissing him off. I know that's petty of me. I know that it's petty of me, but I like to just piss him off. And that's why I end up doing those bathtub ones. I actually hate those bathtub ones. I have mirrors, people. I know I am not attractive. And the fact that I do not have a shirt on in the bathtub and I'm wet, I am so not attractive. But it pisses them off so bad. They bitch about that. The best thing to do if I was in the bath taking a bath thing is to also be drinking a glass of wine. If I could be drinking a glass of wine in the bath doing a video, oh my God, it would piss them off. How many emails do you receive a day? I don't actually receive a lot of emails. Project Bluebeam is UFO stuff. Your smirk in the bathtub is funny. Um, I don't know how I feel about the whole UFO stuff. I I, I don't. Um, I don't know how I feel about it. It's hard for me to think that we're the only ones in this huge universe, but I also think that if there were beings that were intelligent enough to be able to get to this planet, they wouldn't. Oh, see, cognitive, I might do that just one time because people just keep pushing me about it all the time. Bathtub plus wine plus wearing a bow tie. I could put a bow tie on while I'm in the bathtub. And I make my bow ties, so I could make a bow tie that could go in the bathtub that I wouldn't care about after if it got destroyed. The thing about UFOs, what I know is that Aquino was using holograms and UFO shit to actually abuse kids in, and they were doing it under all of these hologram shit, so the kids were confused. So they end up going and talking about aliens from outer space, and really what it is fucking child molesters who have too much fucking power and are working with the government to actually do shit. That's what I heard. That's a lot of the stuff, you know? The human slave trade went off the planet, says the whistleblowers. And it might. I don't know. That's why I said I don't know enough about it to actually have Jupiter Rising might be a documentary. Oh, God. Idiocracy, that is too. That actually became a documentary. I I know that they're trying to use alien bullshit to cover up the fact that God is having an effect. And they'll use everything they can to distract from it being God. And it's, I think that they'll do whatever they can to distract. Because what's happening is what has been written. And not just in Christian scripture, but when you go and read the foundations of all of the religions, and I'm talking Muslim, you read the Quran, which I have, and the Jewish foundation of what's going on, and with Christianity, it's all about love. That's the whole thing. They're all based on love. Filling your hearts with love and loving everyone else. And then it splits off from that. But if you go look at the very foundations of almost every religion, that's the focus. Giving a shit about your fellow man. That's the whole focus of most of it. In all of them. And so it obviously has to be a truth. Why would it be in all of them? It has to be a truth. And I will tell you in my experience that loving God and loving everyone else, I wouldn't be doing this shit if I didn't care about all of you. That I'm just saying. I just wouldn't be doing it if I didn't give a shit about you guys. If I didn't care about mankind and I didn't care about humankind, I wouldn't do any of this. It ain't fun. It isn't fun. I have the Quran, both male and female versions. I did not realize that there were two versions. I've read a book that was the Quran, but I didn't realize. I might email you tonight. Go ahead. It takes me a while to email, and it takes me a while to just, I don't, I'm better on the phone, but I'm kind of weird about the phone because I never know who I'm talking to. And I guess it doesn't make a difference anymore because everything is Providence. And, but I do answer emails. It just takes me, sometimes they're brief emails. So don't think I'm being curt or anything. It's just, I do almost everything on my phone. And so I can't type normal on my phone. It's a hunt and peck. And I hate that. And I'll use the voice thing sometimes, but I don't know if I'm speaking a different dialect or what, but some of the things that I say and what my phone hears is not the same thing. A woman wrote a version of the Quran and had it translated to English as well, because women and men have a different honor system to Allah, if you will. Women are so different. Women are so different. But I'm a mama's boy, and they are brief emails. Yes, they are cognitive. My emails are usually very brief. They're just, I can't say anything. You called me out. My emails are brief. That's why I say don't feel like I'm being rude or anything, because they are brief. But I read everything, and so look through it. And cognitive, this is probably, never mind. Cognitive is great, and has sent me just some really informative stuff. You guys are really bright, and it's fun to have you guys as, I like to have people send me to stuff that actually makes me think and I can read. I don't always agree with all of it, but then I also realize that the more I learn, my mind and my attitude changes. And so it's never like I'm locked in stone. And please read about Orthodox Christianity. I don't think I've ever read pretty much about Orthodox Christianity. I think you'll find it fascinating, especially Orthodox elders and their quotes. Elders. That reminds me of the Mormon Church. Not a big fan of the Mormon church. Hanging out in person is the best. Hanging out with an individual is the best. But I have to be so cautious on so many levels because they can be bad, or if they're good, I can be putting them in jeopardy, and I'm not in a denomination. When we were killing kids in Hummel Park, we were Catholic. And then when we moved to Gruttinger, I didn't want to go to church. My dad stopped going to church. My stepmother went to the Lutheran church. And so I went to the Methodist church. And I ended up going and hitting a lot of religions. And because I was desperately, especially when I was a young kid and into my 20s, I was desperately looking for whatever religion could tell me how I could get out of being the vessel for the Antichrist. And so I studied everything. Shamanism was what saved me. Shamanism actually is what saved me. Orthodox Christianity actually opposes Pope and heresy. Read a book by Seraphim Rose. He was gay and became a monk. This guy was so intelligent and educated. Orthodox Christianity is not a sect. I will look into it. And you can always email me stuff. I just, for me, I believe what Jesus Christ said in the Gospel of Thomas. The kingdom of heaven is inside of us and all around us, not made of buildings made of wood and stone. Certainly not in false prophets who teach the gospel of frickin' greed. And so I believe that the kingdom of heaven is inside of us and all around us. And I don't really think that it matters what dogma you ascribe to. If it helps you fill your hearts with love and have compassion for your fellow man, that's all that really matters. And that's how I feel that it would be, that's how it, could you imagine how hard it would be to get donations if you gave a sermon on how not to be a vessel for the Antichrist? It was so simple in the end. It was so simple in the end. Because God told me, Father told me, you have free will. They can't take your free will. If you don't want to be the vessel for the Antichrist, then choose not to be the vessel for the Antichrist. It was so simple. And so I just uploaded it. Native Tea Podcast just uploaded the link to Tracy's final video. And she's going to email me the link. I'll post that link on my blog, davidshurter.com. I will post that. Try to visit Mount Athos. I wish I was a man so I could go there, but they don't permit women since Virgin Mary was the last woman to step foot there. So they're very strict about it. I actually really like, I think women are amazing. Well, you want to know what, muck boys? I can solve your problem for you just like that. They want everyone to think that I'm crazy. And you can think that I'm crazy, It's just that when it comes down to the Dead Isaac Cappy Club and Issac Cappy and all this child trafficking, I've been at this for so long to just dismiss what I have to say. I don't think is actually sensible. I don't think that it's sensible. The spiritual stuff, I don't know. I'm just telling you what my experiences have been and how I feel and what I think. You don't have to actually adhere to everything that I have to say. And I'm certainly not looking for sycophants, you know? I think that actually asking, okay, Yana K. Dizzle is my Rumble, Native Tea Podcast. Oh, you're going to make me. YANAHA, capital KAI, capital DZIL is my Rumble, Native Tea Podcast. Again, people who actually are working hard and are real, we all need to support each other. We do, you know? Gov like that, because Gov is obviously friends with Native Tea Podcast, which is cool. I'll promote you guys. I just have not done a whole lot of promoting because I've been so busy dealing with my own crap on my blog. The best email to get me is david@davidshurter.com. That's the new email that I have, and it's pretty secure. And if it comes that it's not secure, it's to the point where I can call people and make it secure. That's what I like about that. But david@davidshurter.com is the best email to be able to get a hold of me, especially if you're sending me important stuff. And we were roommates. Cool. It's funny how we all kind of work. I think that God brings all of us together in a way in all of our lives. You may be grouchy, but you were very generous and not crazy. The truth of what they're doing is insane. Thank you, Sarah. I describe it as surreal. It's just some of the things that happen, I can't even believe are happening. And the fact that it's acceptable, the 911 operator sending me to a satellite FBI office in Council Bluffs that doesn't exist was just, I say that I can't be surprised, and yet I'm surprised all the time. Things happen that just, I but a mother protecting child killers, which one? This is just a peace lily. This isn't a plant at all. This is a rock. This is a piece of artwork that I was given. It's a long story, but it goes well with the fountain. A lot of the stuff that I have in the house, people gave me, or I bought at Goodwill. It works well, but that's because I think that my taste comes because my mother was an interior designer when she was pregnant with me, and so it comes naturally. Or maybe it's the gay thing, but I don't attribute it because I've met gay guys that didn't have much taste as far as I was concerned. So just because you're gay doesn't mean you have taste. Thank you, Native Tea Podcast. And I will send you an email telling you that I got it. This is all done with the intention of me being able to do podcasts in the background. And so this is a room that didn't really get used. I have a 20, 30-year-old treadmill in here that I should use a lot more than what I do. But I didn't really use this room a lot. And then when I decided to do podcasts, now I have it to where it's set up to where I actually have a normal background. Because I don't want to put a fake background behind me and all of it's just, I don't want to do it. You know, bad taste people are usually very happy with their taste. That's true. And it's funny because the younger generation doesn't have anything on their walls. I I don't understand that. I like stuff on my walls. I like stuff on my walls. It doesn't have to be. It could just be a cheap mirror that I bought at Goodwill, but I don't like white walls. Even though this room is not white. It's they call it antique gray. But I like when I come on here, I like to have it peaceful and inviting for people, because some of the stuff that I talk about is not inviting. It's not pleasant. But I'm at 1 hour and 51 minutes, so I'm going to pray quick. I hope you guys don't mind. I'm uploading the video to Brightion, Brighton, 2, same username, Yana K. Dizzle, which is what I've read out before. Are you thinking about Halloween or the sacrifices they're planning on doing? Um, yeah, with all the weird ass shit that is going on and is being said to me and stuff, there's a part of me that wonders if if they're thinking they're going to get me to be a ritual sacrifice. I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. That's, and it's been mentioned to me from people that just, it's been really strange. And so, yeah, I just want this Halloween to be over with. But that's how the way I am every Halloween. I just want it to be over with. I know some of you enjoy it. I understand. It's just where I come from and my history and my background with it. It's just, it's the beginning. And then Christmas is bad, and then New Year's is bad, and then it leads all the way up into Easter, which is horrible. But oh wow. Hey, just came into your stream, but your last vid about the FBI call made me look up Lucian Greaves, and I'm pretty sure I saw the dude at my job, like 95% sure it was him. I would think he would be pretty hard to miss. The cult does love Halloween. I'm one of those people they're trying to sacrifice, pretty sure. I think that is a thing that I think that's a next step. I just do. But I don't think that's just it, Dorina. I don't think they can do me harm. You know, I'm going to pray real quick. Heaven, we come to you as your children. Father, your light shines down upon us, and we are grateful. And things have been incredibly difficult with me. It's just, I appreciate you being there with me and actually helping me through, but dealing with all of this is difficult, and I can't say that it's not. And I know that each one of us, everyone that's in this room, is having their own trials and tribulations. We're at judgment. And the closer we get to the closer we are to the word closer that we are to being on the right path, the harder the tests are. And that's just the way it works. And just give us the strength, give me the strength and the tenacity, and just, dare I say it, the enthusiasm to keep going when things are really super difficult, and trying to remind ourselves that it's always darkest before the dawn. And we're very grateful that you sent your son, our brother, to teach us about the word and how important it is that we bring the word into our lives and emulate the word as much as we can by loving you, life, and all those around us, filling our hearts with love. And I'm really grateful that you helped me, because had it not been for our brother's teachings, I might have gotten lost. And that other side sucks. Anyway, we say these things gratefully in your brother, your son, and our brother's name, Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay. Kind of got a little bit off of there, but their side does suck, and not in a good way. I sent you an email. Thank you. Cognitive will tell you, sometimes I don't respond, and when I do respond, sometimes it's short. I just am not. I blame it on being a dude, but it's so much more fun to have a conversation in person, and online just kind of drives me crazy. Sending you the Brighton link too. Thank you. I have responded to people. I do try to respond. I just don't, because sometimes I'll read it and then I want to think about it and think about what I want to say. And then it's like out of sight, out of mind. And I think about it, but then I forget to actually email. It's just, halfway for coffee straight up. Brad is cool. Brad is cool. I have told Gov that I would just love to have dinner with him sometime. Just get into a conversation. I think it would be into the late night, because I just think, and if there was a group of people, if there was like just a dinner party or something, and we were all inclined to do it, I think it would be a fascinating conversation. I like to get around people who are as smart, or if not smarter than I am. I love that, because that's how I learn. And Go has a lot of good, interesting stuff to say, Just repeat the Lord's Prayer and know on our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. It's one of my most favorite prayers. People on here probably get irritated, but I like prayer. I do. I like prayer. I like the word. I love heaven, and I think you guys are pretty cool. I think you guys are pretty cool. I think that the people come in here as trolls are just lost. See, I don't have, he's the producer on my podcast who uses the soundboard to make it more amusing. I just don't. I am so not. I guess mine are just not professional. I end up just coming in here and talking, and they're not professional. Plus, he adds to the topics I cover. I'm gonna have to watch you guys' stuff because you guys are both really interesting. You know, Native Tea Podcast and Gov. And check out davidshurter.com because I'll put links. With this video, I'll end up putting links to the stuff that I talked about in here. So that after I post this on my blog, I'll put the links of what we're talking about. So you can just go check it out yourself. I kind of like, there was no weird stuff in here, so I don't have screenshots to post. Because when they're in here threatening people or it's not professional either. I filmed a presentation I make on my tablet. I think it's okay, you know? I'm a boomer in a 29-year-old body. I don't know what I am. And I'm about ready to turn 58, and I feel like I'm 1,000. And so I feel old and tired, you know, and grouchy. I still can laugh, though, and I can still smile. So I guess that's something. I'm not a boomer. Gen X. I think I'm Gen X. I don't remember. I've always been crusty. I was told when I was in my 20s by my ex's, who wasn't my ex at the time, one of his friends, that I was an old man trapped in a young man's body. That's what I was told. And that was kind of, I was always older. But even when I was young, I preferred to hang out with older people. And so smiling is physically and internally healing. I hate my smile. I ground my teeth. I smoke. I drink way too much coffee and my teeth are stained. I swear I don't do drugs. I still have all my teeth, you know, but they're crappy looking. But I'm nice. People don't seem to care because I smile a lot. I smile at people. Gen X was supposedly crazy when they were kids. No one cared where they were. If they were outside, that they had freedom. That's just... My parents would lock me out of the house. So I had to find things to do because I was locked out of the house. And so, as long as your breath don't stink. No, I brush my teeth and gargle all the time. I gargle a lot. I'm one of those people that if my breath is stinky, I can smell it. As weird as that sounds. And so I like my breath always to be minty fresh. So I gargle a lot. And sometimes I'll brush my teeth a couple times during the day, but I'll gargle 2 or 3 times. And if I drink coffee in the afternoon, even more, because I gargle after I drink coffee. How do I tell my breath her breath always stinks without hurt her feelings? Give her some gum. Give her some gum, and then when she asks, is my breath bad? You say yes. But give her some gum. That way she won't have her feelings hurt, or a mint, or something. You know? I would rather be told. You know, if my breath is bad, tell me that my breath is bad. If I have a booger hanging out of my nose, Tell me I have a booger hanging out of my nose. If my zipper's down, tell me my zipper's down. If I have toilet paper stuck to the bottom of my shoe, tell me I have toilet paper stuck to my shoe. I might be embarrassed for the second that it takes for me to correct the thing, but it's better than spending the whole day going out and about and then at the end of the day realizing that you had reason to be embarrassed throughout the whole day. I just rather get it over with. Just tell me the truth. I appreciate your self-awareness. How can we learn if we're not self-aware? You know, we all have flaws. We all have things that we have to work on. We all have things that are actually great about ourselves. And I think that, you know, being open to that really is key. Real friends always tell you the real shit. Amen to that. They always tell you. Always tell me. I've gotten to the point now where I'll reach down. I don't care when I'm walking into a store how creepy it looks. It looks like I'm playing with myself. I just want to make sure my zipper's up. Because sometimes I don't realize that my zipper's down. And I think that's more embarrassing than just quick making sure that it's up. It's not like I'm sticking my hand in my pants or anything, but I want to make sure that my zipper's up. My shirt's tucked in. Tell your friend you're self-conscious about your own breath and what you do about it. That's good advice, cognitive. You know? And it's not, if you have bad breath, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't brush your teeth. You know? Just because my teeth suck doesn't mean I have bad personal hygiene, doesn't mean I'm on drugs either. You know, they keep wanting to say I'm on drugs because my teeth are bleached and I have bad teeth. I've ground my teeth. Are you still talking about your breath? I'm not talking about my breath. I was answering someone else. But it is 5 after 1. I have 10% to my battery. And so it is time for me to get off of here. And I'm telling everybody right now, I ain't doing anything with my phone. I'm shutting everything down. I'm going to go down. I'm going to let my dogs outside, and then I'm going to get in bed. I'm tired. I was in Omaha all day. It was a good day. This was a really nice time tonight, guys. I just really want to tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming on and actually having conversation. This was so nice. And it's great that you guys, you know, it's just really nice that you guys can come in and talk. And it's just been a lot of fun, you know. But again, at the very end, if they Issac Cappy me, I obviously didn't do it to myself, you know. But they've told me I was going to disappear and no one would care. That didn't work. You know, they say a lot of things. Whether or not it comes true or not is really up to God. And I don't worry about it. That's the whole thing about having faith. Whatever happens is providence. Oh, sorry. As you can tell, it is way past my bedtime. I'm not afraid. Don't worry about it. I'm not afraid. God has me, and I'm not going to worry about it. They've tried to take me out so many times, and they have failed, obviously, every time. Since I'm still here, obviously they have failed every time, and they have tried repeatedly. That was why when I came on here, at the very beginning, I was just like, I don't know what you expect me to do. Am I supposed to go hide under my bed? Am I supposed to go hide in the closet? Jump in bed and pull the covers over myself and hide underneath? You know, is that what you want me to do? Because that ain't going to happen. Heaven has things for me to do. I don't have time for all of that. I'm too busy doing what heaven needs me to do. calling 911 when I don't want to call 911. Now I understand why. Opening up comments and talking about Isaac Cappy. Didn't want to do that either. Now I understand why. I get told a lot of stuff. It's funny because everyone says, well, I ran for office because God told me that I needed to do this, but it was what they wanted to do in the first place. It doesn't work that way with me. God is always telling me things to do that I don't want to do, that are pushing me out of my comfort zone. Half the time I get told stuff I don't want to do. I just don't argue because it doesn't work well, and I always lose. When God tells me to do something, I can argue, but only to a certain point, and then I end up having to do it anyway. So a lot of times I just end up doing it. But that's what the way it is with me, is that I don't get told to do. God has never once told me to go on a trip and lay on a beach and drink Mai Tais and enjoy myself. Usually it's in the trenches. But my puppies are ready to go to bed. Yes, one of them is already here. She is ready to go to bed. She wants to go out. So with that said, thanks guys. It was a pleasure tonight. Thank you. All right.